Hello, my beautiful people, and thank you so much for joining me. My name is Lauren if you're new here, and if you're not new, thank you for coming back. Today, what I wanted to do is a little bit of a comparison between two palettes that I picked up recently. So, I missed this bad boy the first time it came around. So when Melt Cosmetics came back out with their Gemini palette, I knew I wanted to grab it. Now, Melt Cosmetics, I feel like their palettes are very much hit or miss. I either am absolutely obsessed with them or I never use them. They just kind of sit in my collection. So, for example, the latest palette, the big one they did, the Mariposa one, I believe is what it's called. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Those colors work flawlessly. Obsessed with that palette, and I'm hoping I get the same feeling from the Gemini. So this is it in all its beautiful grungy goodness. I absolutely love it. But wait, didn't I mention we were going to be comparing palettes? Because I also picked up the Gemini 2. So this is what the Gemini 2 looks like. It's also a grungy palette, and it's also a gorgeous palette. I mean, both these palettes are absolutely gorgeous, but do you need both of them? Now, I'm gonna say probably not, but we're not gonna know until we try them out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try the Gemini on one eye and the Gemini 2 on the other eye, and we're just gonna see if there's one that performs better, if maybe I have a color preference, if maybe you, whoever you are watching, maybe you have a color preference. But yeah, we're just gonna have fun and play with them. The rest of my face is already done. I just wanted to focus on the eyes today. And I also have to do a big shout out to my brother because I stole this awesome Doctor Who shirt from him. So, it didn't fit him anymore. So, I mean, he gave it to me, but it's a great shirt. So, we're gonna do some swatches. I'm not gonna do the swatching on camera. I'm just going to do them and show them on camera, if that makes sense. And then we're gonna get into the eye look. So yeah, let's go. Just so you get an idea of what we're working with, here are the swatches. We have the Gemini 1 on this hand, and then we have the Gemini 2 on this hand. Hopefully you're getting those because I always swatch at kind of an angle. But right off the bat, I can tell you I'm a little disappointed in the amount of shimmers they have. Each palette only has 2 shimmers, so the rest are matte. And you know, Melt Cosmetics, while their shimmers are pretty phenomenal, their mattes are really nothing to write home about. So we're gonna see. We're gonna hope for the best with these guys. So first, what I'm gonna do is what I always do, and that is prime my eyes. And I'm gonna go ahead and use the ABH eye primer. I have no idea what kind of look I want to do today, but I feel like I have to do something green with the Gemini 1, right? It is just amazing. If you're new to this channel, hi, I'm Lauren, and I love greens. Any green. I'll put any green on my face. Give me a green highlighter. Give me any sort of green eyeshadow. Maybe not green lipstick. Maybe not that. But I wouldn't say no. I haven't tried it yet. So just letting that dry down a little bit, waiting for it to be tacky rather than waiting for it to be wet. I literally had to say that line like 3 times. I don't know why. That was a struggle. This side, my left side, we're gonna be doing Gemini, and then the other side, we're gonna be doing the Gemini 2. So just a reminder, this is what the Gemini looks like. It's really gorgeous. It's really pretty. I just really wish there were more shimmers in there because those shimmers, when I swatched them, were just, oh, gorgeous. They had layers to them. They were beautiful. So what are we gonna do? Interesting fact, when I swatched the color Luna, I don't know if you noticed in the swatches, but it does not show up on my skin. It's super, super light. I didn't love that it didn't show up on my skin, so I think what we're gonna do, we're gonna go into Lorelei. We're gonna go ahead and put that, not on this side, into the crease and just kind of buff that out a little bit. Okay, that went on really nice, which is good. When I was swatching the mattes, they were giving me a little bit of trouble, but I mean, I always say that you can't really trust a swatch. You have to wait until you try to put it on your eye to really see how an eyeshadow performs. Next, I think on the outer corner, I'm gonna go into Leo. That's a really pretty dark green. It's like a foresty green. Okay, it's like an olivey green, not so much foresty. Go back in the same brush that we used earlier. Oh, I love a good fluffy brush. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into the color Cupcake and just kind of blend that out and see how that goes. I'm not sure how it's gonna go. So I'm just gonna put some on a fluffy brush and tap it in. A little bit of fallout with that one. You can see some kick up in the pan. Ooh, pretty, like it. Okay, now I'm gonna go into, I have to use goals, right? I have to use it, it's gorgeous. And I'm just gonna put that in the inner corner. It's funny, that shimmer didn't go on as well as I thought it would. I'm gonna try using my finger. Oh, it's a little better. Okay, I'm gonna go back into Cupcake and just bring this color a little more center. And then I think I'm gonna go into Fire OG or Fire Og, I guess. I'm gonna go ahead and put it under my lower lash line. Okay, we have to go into the other shimmer, obviously. So we're gonna go ahead and go into Gemini and we're gonna put it in the inner corner. I'm reusing the same brush, but I'm wiping it off first so that I don't get, hopefully, any color transfer. That one didn't layer super well when I swatched it. It was amazing, but I think it's just not wanting to layer. Oh, again, these shimmers are working much better with a finger than they were with a brush, which is okay, that happens. Okay, I actually really like this look. We didn't use all the colors, but just right off the bat, what I noticed is there was a ton of kick up in Cupcake and fallout, so you do have to be a little bit cautious of that. Also, I feel like Leo and Fire OG are kind of similar. I don't know if you needed both of these. I feel like if this had been a darker green and looked much darker on the eye, I would have liked it a little bit more, but it just kind of seemed a little too similar to Fire OG. Also, it does seem like the shimmers work a little bit better when you use your finger, so just kind of keep that in mind. You may have a totally different experience than I had though, so be curious to know if you have used this palette and your brush worked fine. Now we're gonna go into Gemini 2 with the other eye, and again, this is what the color story is, so it's much more mauve-y. We do have a couple greens in here, but it's primarily mauve-y and brown. It's much more pinky kind of palette, so pretty different from the original Gemini. I think what I first want to do is I'm going to go into Ladylike and I'm going to put that in my crease. Already we're going for a much different vibe. I think what I want to do is I'm going to go into Shmoo. And that one, it seems like it's black based. It's super pretty. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend that out in the outer corner of my eyes. That one is not picking up well on the brush. Let me use my finger. Oh yeah, it's better. Woo. Wow, Okay. That's a really, really pretty color. Okay, now what I want to do, let's see what I want to do. I'm going to go into Lovesick and kind of continue to blend that out in my outer corner. So we're basically doing the same look, just in the other eye. So similar product placement. Again, this color, I'm seeing quite a bit of kick up in the pan and a little bit of fallout. Okay, I'm gonna go back into Shmoo. Oh, it's Shmooed. Well, I kind of like Shmoo better. I'm just gonna go ahead and put some more of that on. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into Almond Eyes and put that in my inner corner now. And I'm going to add Mateo also in the inner corner. That one went on really easy with a brush, and that was one of the shimmers. Is there anything else we want to do with this palette? I'm going to go into Gemini, and I'm going to go ahead and put that underneath my waterline. Please tell me I'm saying that right. Gemini? I don't know what that word is. I read a lot. I feel like I would know what that word was, but I have not seen that before. Oh, wow. Okay. You know what? I think I hid Shmooed a little bit too well. Go back, add some of that in. Oh, it does not want to layer. I don't think it loves layering. It's an interesting shadow. Okay, so no look is complete until you put on mascara and eyeliner. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and be right back. And then we're gonna talk about my final thoughts. Final look, what do we think? They're both very different. I think when I initially purchased them, for some reason I thought there was more green in the Gemini too, but there's not. There's very little green, and the green we used was very, very dark and olivey. So total different vibe from the Gemini, which has a lot of yellowy green and olivey greens, but not dark olive greens. At least the ones that I used on my eye, they didn't really turn out as dark as I thought they would. The Gemini one does have a black in it, so you can deepen some of those colors, but black kind of scares me. I feel like I tend to get a little messy once I start incorporating black eyeshadow into my looks, but it just means that's something I need to practice on. So I have a couple feelings that I want to talk about. So one is that I think the mattes performed way better than I thought they would. Again, I shouldn't be basing anything off of swatches, but when I did the swatches, it made me a little nervous. And I know in previous melt palettes, I have had some issues with the mattes. So I was worried that I wouldn't love them, but I did. I will say though, there's quite a bit of kick up in most of the darker shades. Some of the lighter shades I didn't notice as much, but the darker shades, especially like Cupcake and this one, there was a ton of kick up. I also noticed that in the Gemini one, the shimmers, they don't want to be layered. So they do not like to go on top of other colors, at least from the one look that I've done so far. So when I was trying to put Gemini on top of, it was on goals? Yeah, on top of goals, it didn't want to go. So I also noticed that these two worked really well when I used my finger, which is pretty common with shimmers. I don't find that to be like too annoying. Gemini 2, again, same thing. I was dealing with quite a bit of kick up in the mattes, but they performed really well. The shimmers, I was surprised. They actually went on really great with an eye pencil brush. So that wasn't a concern. I didn't really need to use my fingers except for Shmooed, which I feel like it deserves better. It's like on there, but I think the more I tried to layer it on top of itself, the more it wanted to go away. So it's a beautiful color, clearly one that I'm gonna have to play around with a little bit more to get comfortable with and to really bring out that full richness. It looks like it has a black base when I swatched it, which is absolutely gorgeous because it really brings some extra punch of color to whatever color it is. Does that make sense? That makes sense, sure. Now, do you need both of these? I mean, do you need any eyeshadow palette? Yes. But I would say because the color stories are so different and their formulas are pretty similar, I would say you probably only need one, and I would go with whichever color story really fits you. If you like more of a grungy green, I would say go with the Gemini one. Maybe you are more of a pink fiend, and then this mauve-y goodness will be all yours. These greens are interesting because they're super, super dark, and they're just completely different from the greens in the Gemini one. So completely different vibes from both of these. I really enjoy playing with both of them though. I think these are two probably better melt palettes than a lot of them. Millennial pink. And I'm excited to have them in my collection. I do think these were good purchases. I know I'll be using them quite a bit. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I'm more drawn to the Gemini one. Again, it's the green. The green just pulls me in, and I really do like how these perform. And I'm glad that the mattes performed as well as they did, especially since there's only 2 shimmers in each palette, which again, a little disappointing. But anyways, I'm glad that I added these to my collection. Let me know what you thought of this video below. I'd love to hear from you, and I will see you guys later. Bye!